Hello, my name is Walter. I am a 22 year combat vet. I am making this video for all the other veterans that have had similar issues that I have experienced while dealing with the VA. You may ask why this is even important. Because I would say it would be because our VAs are not being treated, or veterans are not being treated very well at our VAs. And you've probably seen tidbits about events that have transpired through, with, or at specific VAs. Most recently we had a Colonel Turner who I knew through associations that transpired at my local VA. In his situation, it shares a common interest of why I'm doing this. And he unfortunately committed suicide around November of 2018. So it's been pretty recent. That event motivated me to do what I'm doing today. And that is just to bring awareness to you, our common citizen, or even previous veterans yourself, that may even be experiencing these same issues. I want to get a channel out and open so we can discuss this and try to figure out ways of making things better at our VAs. Because we are not treating our veterans the way they deserve to be treated. To prove who I am, I will cover up my name, but as you can see, that is my mug right there. And maybe it'll focus, maybe it won't, I don't know. This right here says that I've retired. I spent, like I said, 22 years in the military. I loved every second of it. I wouldn't change a thing except for this one fact or matter. But in the 22 years that I was in the military, I did nothing any different than any other common citizen would do. I showed up on time in a clean working uniform and got to work, and I worked hard and didn't ask many questions other than how to do it, when to do it, where to do it, and such. And that's pretty much standard throughout the military, because asking questions almost comes off as if you're challenging authority. That's not what we try to do. We work professionally just the same as anyone else. To give you a little bit of history of myself, I decided to join the military in the mid-90s. I was motivated by some of you may even know, the Rambo series. Rambo, like First Blood, through all the Rambos that he has today. And as a child, I grew up watching Rambo. It's kind of silly, I know, but it was motivating to me. I enjoyed watching Rambo go in action, starting from the day that he was fighting in Rambo First Blood and defending his rights and protecting himself, to fighting countless armies and enemies. But through that endeavor of my life, I learned one thing, and it was how to respect our country and love the United States of America. And my family history reflects that, because in every generation, one person has been in the military, at least one, if not all the members of that generation. But I am a long history line of patrons for the military, and we take pride in that. And when I decided to join in 1995, I was to the understanding there may be difficult times along the road that could even result in an injury, maybe even death. That was something I was willing to compromise and deal with. if that so be the case. I left it in the hands of God. But I did it for no other reason than to do a job to protect this country and the citizens that live within these borders. Because only 3% of the world, or 3% of our country, will even try to be in the military. Or succeed, I'll say. Which is a very low number. But despite that, we join the military, all of us join the military for a reason. Some do it for education. Some do it for job benefits, job security. Some do it just to get away from mom and dad. But whatever your case may be, we all did the job and we sacrificed the same, giving us the rights and entitlements to specific things, such as medical care. That is where we lie in our process, where we divide ourselves from the military and civilian life. And as we work through our lives and follow the course of actions in the military, we understand that there will be those compromises or sacrifices. And we're willing to work with them. Because from day one, we are promised that if we were injured, disabled, or even died, that the military would come through and help us. And that's true. They will. The military actually provides some of the best medical services that can be afforded. But the one thing that they don't tell you is once you get out of the military, they're done. Technically speaking, in the aspect of medical care, because we know of the VA hospitals. The VA hospitals are separate from the military. They are the ones that provide care once we separate from the military. And most people understand that. Some don't. But yes, the military and the VA are not the same entity. But when you're dealing with the VA, there's one thing that I've recently come to learn, and that's that the VA has a dynamic of how they operate. And in my experience, it's to do little for more, just from what I've observed. And I'm only one person, and I want to share with you a couple of situations that I've endured. And as one person, I can hardly imagine how many hundreds or thousands, and if not millions of other individuals that have suffered through similar or worse circumstances than that of my own. But doing the job that I did for the military, starting early in my career, in the early, well, let's say around 2005, I started to experience different injuries as a result to training and job requirements, I'll say. The military did a great job of getting me in, taking care of me, and trying to help me along my way. And one of those events was a matter where I was actually deployed, operating or working in an environment that is technically difficult, I'll say, and I don't want to go into it too much more than that. But during that time, I thought I'd honestly got shot because I hurt so bad. So I asked the guy that was with me, hey, can you check me for a bullet wound? Come to find out, there was no bullet, luckily. But it felt like I'd gotten shot in my back. So I go to the doctor and they tell me, oh, it was just a pulled back muscle. Well, that pulled back muscle that they were telling me I had felt like it wrapped around my lung. And it felt like it went through. So that's why I thought it was a bullet. And they gave me Motrin 800, sent me on my way, put me back out on the field to go back to work. Yes, I went back to work. And I fought for the next 7.5 months, fighting to breathe and be able to work so that the team didn't suffer. And once I got back, things started to seem to go a little bit more south. shortly after that, I ended up in the hospital because I had endured or experienced 3 hernias. Now this will all pan out. I'll explain it as we go. Just try to keep track. I experienced 3 hernias. And at which point they had gone in and placed a piece of surgical mesh. Now the doctor explained to me that this piece of surgical mesh was compatible or comparable to the type of material that you would see on a heavy-duty type screen, let's say on your screen door or patio, but it was fabricated in the way to look and work like a screen. And it even was made with a particular material that was rather dangerous. But it was still put in place. So, not knowing of that situation back then, being younger and just wanting to hoo-yah through the pain, I pushed. And I kept going. I come to the point of my life and my career where it was time for me to separate from the military. I get out of the military, I go through my physical for separation, I learn of all these pains and ailments that I had been complaining about were more severe actually than what was initially explained to me. That pulled back muscle ended up resulting in a torn tendon. A torn tendon. Imagine how bad that hurt. If you've ever experienced a pulled back muscle, I think you would understand what I'm talking about. So then at the completion of that that physical, I was told that the mesh had then grown in or adhered to my intestines. Oh yeah, wonderful, huh? So all the stabbing, cutting, and pains that I was feeling was actually the mesh growing into my intestine and cutting into the soft tissue around it, such as fascia, muscle, other parts of my intestine, and so on. I go into the Bay Pines VA in St. Petersburg, Florida, to be fixed, I guess, or have that situation corrected. The surgeons were amped on getting in there and removing that piece of mesh because it was causing the issue. So I'm not trying to be graphic here, but I do want to point it out so that you can better understand the situation. And this is just one of many of my medical issues that I'm having with the Bay Pines VA, as well as other veterans are having similar or worse issues with other VAs. But on this particular one, I went in for the surgery, and you can probably see the scar that goes from here to here, from about here to here. They cut open, went in, explained to me that they were going to remove the piece of mesh and maybe remove 4 inches of my intestine. I wake up after the surgery, got the cut, got the staples. You know, things should be good to go, right? No, absolutely not. Upon further inspection of that area, the day after the surgery, I noticed that the staples, which are technically really long, were starting to stick out and bulge away from the incision already, as if they were trying to pop out. I brought this to the attention of the surgeon. The surgeon said it was natural. Okay, that's fine. They tell me, hey, you need to start getting up and walking around. I get up and walk around. Did my thing. And typically they would give you this support that would wrap around so you can slowly work your way in to doing more each day. But on this particular episode, I had asked for that support and they had told me they don't provide that. Okay, I get sent home about a week later. I'm experiencing some severe pain. I'm talking like blood-curdling stuff, you know, just you can't sleep, can't breathe, can't eat, can't walk, just pain, okay? And I sit up on the edge of my bed. It was around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And that incision just, with the t-shirt on, I'll mind you, I wore a t-shirt to keep that stuff clean so that, you know, nothing can stick to it. So much liquid came out, it looked like I was in the middle of a combat zone. It was everywhere. And I understand what hematoma is. I understand it's a liquid that develops in an area of surgery or compromise, and sometimes it's considered natural. My concern was that I was having issues with infection. So I go back into the hospital. I explain to the doctor what I'm having issues with, and he tells me everything's okay. Pain continues to get worse. He sends me home. Pain continues to get worse. So I start going into the emergency room because, you know, the surgeon's not handling that pain. I go into the emergency room. The emergency room decides to tell me that the pain is all in my head, that the pain does not exist, that it's non-existent pain. I don't understand that. Somewhat I don't. I mean, but for that type of pain, it was legit. And they sent me home. I come back 2 weeks later for the same issue. Severe pain, you know, redness, infection possibly. They give me antibiotics. As I was leaving, I noticed that there was an annotation placed by the intern, not even the emergency room doctor, but the intern that was practicing to earn his PhD, had annotated that patient is drug seeking, implying that I was only there to acquire narcotics. And I've learned that that is a system approach to most cases, or many cases that I know of, for that facility. When they have an ongoing issue, it's doing less for more in their eyes by the only thing they have to do is just discredit the person. And I'm still fighting that issue where that doctor or that intern had annotated that I was drug seeking. So to the point where I'd actually been approached by one of the counselors over there at the Bay Pines facility to start attending some of their drug rehab meetings and such. So my situation got brushed under the table, and I was left to deal with the pain and the possibility of further issues developing. I go in to see my doctors, and if you guys want to know more, I'll provide more detailed information as we go. I'm giving you the base routes here, trying to get something started, trying to open up a channel for people to talk so we can develop a plan to combat this stuff, because this is getting insane when you're dealing with the VAs where a service member actually works and earns the care that the VAs are supposed to provide. But on this, back to what I was saying, I apologize. I'm a little bit passionate about this, as you can tell. Kind of frustrated, trying to keep my cool, not to blow up and just go off on a tangent, like I kind of am. But I go back to see the doctor. The doctor runs an x-ray. Now this gets me. In the x-ray, after I viewed it, I learned that they were not looking at the surgical area. They were looking for appendicitis. Now, I had my appendix removed back in 1987. Meaning, my appendix isn't there. But yet on this image, it is annotated or stated that my appendix is easily visible and is in proper working form and appears to be in outstanding condition. This is just last year, man. 2017 that image was taken. 2017, I had an image saying that I had my appendix. How many years is that? 30? But anyway, so they were telling me that everything was in my head. All their doctor's notes reflected that I was drug seeking. The pain was not real. It wasn't significant. The situation was normal. The incision site looked outstanding. So I stopped going to them. I had to look for ways to get the treatment as my condition was worsening. And at a certain point, the staples started to come out on their own, and the incision that was in place started to open from the top going down. I mean, it was disgusting. You could see inside of it. And even showing that to the surgical team, the team at the Bay Pines VA hospital tells me we will not be bullied into doing a surgery on you. What the hell? Bullied? That is my right. That is something I earned. We worked hard and sacrificed for. They are doing that job, a job that they are paid to do to provide that service. I'm being told that I'm bullying them? Give me a break. So, taking that into, well, I won't say consideration, but understanding the situation, I decided, look, enough's enough. I was in a fortunate position because I am clinically 100% disabled. Okay? That means that I can step out of the government VA network and go to a civilian practice and have them do what they can. Fortunately, that was my position. Not every veteran has that luxury, and it's only a small percentage of us that do have the 100%. The rest of us are stuck relying on the VA to fix the same problems they created. But on this episode, I was fortunate enough to find a doctor to view my case. He wasn't going to do it at first. No, he did not want to do it. He told me of the situation for what it was. I asked him to be honest, and he was. Dr. Sigmund, he's a wonderful man. Explained to me that I am a high liability, and any doctor that takes on this surgery then takes on the responsibility. And he explained to me that is something he was willing to do only if he could get the support of the rest of his team. So he goes and informs me that there's 2 other surgeons that he's going to have come in and help. So luckily, on February 4th, 2019, I will be getting the surgery to fix this problem. Can you see that? Here. You see that big old knot right there? Look at it. Look how big that thing is. This is what I'm not supposed to be feeling pain from. As you can see, this right here would naturally be the size of my stomach. Right here. Look at that big knot. I'm actually starting to get another knot right here. That is naturally right here at the back edge of that part. You can feel the muscles right through here. That's supposed to be my stomach. Look how deformed that is. The doctors at the VA tell me that I'm fat, I'm obese. I know I am. It's because of them. I mean, yes, can I get up, walk, and move? I do. But does it hurt like hell? Absolutely, every step of the way. I can't even get in the pool because that big knot right there, it feels like it wants to fold and it flops. Not to be too descriptive, but I'm being honest here. And it creates a lot of pain. Pain that I'm being told that is in my head. That is not real. Okay? Now, to be more accurate on this, so that someone can say, a person's size depends differently on the situation of, or even the body mass of the person. So to give you a better understanding of how big this is a 12-inch ruler. I apologize for it being clear. This is what I use for school. But on a 12-inch ruler, I mean, you can see that this is no joke, man. This is a huge, huge deal. I mean, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to deal with the system that was put in place to support me when that support system fails to operate correctly and allows my health to decline to the point where I can't even go out with my family now and do the things with them that I want to do? I can't walk around the mall to go shopping. I can't play chase with my kids in the backyard. You know, and this is the situation that the Bay Pines VA surgical staff created right here. You can't deny it. But they are. Bay Pines VA will not touch this because now they say that this is a high risk and it's beyond their capability. I wanted to add one more thing. This is such a significant event that the Bay Pines VA pain clinic will not engage either. Okay? I have it in my records multiple occasions where I've attempted to contact them. I've even gone into the pain clinic myself, doubled over and in severe pain, and it is duly noted in my record that my condition is beyond the capabilities of the Bay Pines VA pain clinic to help control the pain. That is not true. They have the capability, they just don't want to do it. Because engaging, they have to accept the fact that this does hurt, and it goes against all the words of wisdom that the doctors had put in there where they tell me it's all in my head. Because if the pain clinic's treating me, it can't be in my head. So it's a double-edged sword. And this is how that network functions at the Bay Pines VA. And I'm sure it happens at other VAs. I'm putting the word out there to get this started, trying to get people like you and me together to fix this situation, or at least bring awareness. One of the things that we used to say before stepping on the field, a combat game, whatever, was awareness was the main key, the biggest key that we could possess when going in. Knowing what to be expected, knowing your enemy, knowing the direction, who's where's who, and what everybody was doing at the time of what you need them to do. That is awareness. We need to bring that together and figure something out, because people like Colonel Turner, he shouldn't have died that way. The man was, I won't say healthy, because he had physical issues that the Bay Pines VA and other VAs would not help treat him for. I feel bad for that family, and they deserve more. All these veterans deserve more. You, as an American citizen, deserves more. Your kids will be joining the military one day with the understanding from their recruiting officer or whoever it might be that, hey, the military is a great thing to do. Yes, you'll get your job experience. You can earn an education. I got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. You'll see the world. You'll